You ever wonder what this light means on your dash? Stay tuned to find out.
Hey!
Yeah,
What are you guys doing around here today?
shooting a movie.
Oh no, we ain't got time for that, man.
All right. So today we're going to talk about your tire pressure monitoring system. So that's what that light is that comes on in the dash sometime if either you have a fault with the system or your tire pressure gets low. The driving force between most of the systems on your cars today are either one of two things. It's either environmental or convenience and comfort for the person that owns the car. So the environmental reasons are anything that'll help save fuel economy is definitely a plus. So obviously we're sticking with our tires. We talked earlier about the winter tires and summer tires, the difference, what all the numbers on the sides of the tire mean. Now we're going to kind of focus on this tire pressure system is there to obviously increase your fuel mileage, and it's also to help with the wear of your tires. So we're going to talk to you about how that works. So most cars today have that tire pressure monitoring system, and it doesn't really matter the make or model. It all gets done in the same kind of way. So in my hand here I have a tire pressure monitor from this vehicle here, which is a 16 Equinox, and they pretty much all manufacturers, they all look really close to the same. So you've got your regular valve stem here, and you've also got this sensor on the bottom. So what this does is when you put this in your tire, and each tire has one, and you fill your tires with air, the air pressure that's in the tire is sent from this the sensor here out to a receiver in the car to tell the car what the tire pressure is. And we showed there in the last video last week of where to find your tire pressures at. So when it sees it drop below a certain amount, which will obviously affect your tire pressure because a flat tire is harder to roll down the road, which means you're using more fuel to do that, it'll turn the light on in the dash. Now, some vehicles will just have the light come on. It won't tell you what tire is low, it'll just tell you that you have a low tire, and then it's up to you to go on and check each tire. Some vehicles will have, it'll tell you the location of that tire. So it'll tell you if it's a left front, right rear, left rear. And it'll actually display, usually, you know, because we're in Canada, so it'll usually display in kilopascals instead of pounds per square inch, but it'll give you a kilopascal number up on your dash to tell you. So this is something you can do at home if you're one of those do-it-yourself kind of guys. Every time you rotate the tires or change your tires, you're supposed to do a relearn. And the relearn is to tell the vehicle where each sensor is. So some manufacturers and some models of vehicles, when you install these sensors, they'll self-learn to where that sensor is on the car. So you have the sensor in the wheel, and then there's a receiver inside the wheel well somewhere that'll say, okay, that sensor is closest to me, that's where that sensor is. It's convenient as far as doing your tire rotations and your tire replacements. The only issue is you've got more wiring and more parts to service and more things potentially go wrong. So in particular with this vehicle here and our Chev vehicles, the way it works and a lot of other manufacturers, once you put this sensor in, you have to do the relearn procedure. So what I'll do is I'm going to show you how to put this vehicle, and most of them, I mean, there's a few differences, but for most part, the vehicle, you put it in learn mode almost all the same way. And then you'll need a tool, something like this tool here. We're going to sell these in the service department for your do-it-yourself guys. We have a tool, in our shop that's obviously a little more complicated than this, and it allows us to do some diagnostics with the tool as well. But this is something that a kind of do-it-yourselfer kind of guy can afford and put in his own garage at home. And once I show you to put it in learn mode, we'll go through the procedure of resetting your tire pressure monitors. So first things first, we'll jump in the car, and then we'll put it in learn mode, and then we'll go ahead and we'll relearn all the tires. Okay, so first thing you need to do when you get in the vehicle is you have to turn the key on. And on this vehicle here, the tire pressure is going to be displayed in this DIC, or the Driver Information Center. You're going to use the menu button down here to scroll through. Okay, so once you click your menu up, you're going to be able to go through all your settings here. And one, you'll see you get oil, you get your units, and there's your tire pressure. So once you select your tire pressure, you're going to go over here and you're going to press and hold the set and clear button. And once you do, it's going to pop up back on the DIC screen, and it's going to ask you if you want to, that you want to relearn the tires. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the arrows and scroll up to yes. I'm going to press the set and clear button again, just a quick press. And you're going to hear that, that horn honk twice, and then you've got tire learn activation up on the screen as well. So just one thing to keep in mind before we go out. Your tire pressure, like I said before, is in kilopascals. You got to remember that 7 kilopascals is 1 pound. So if you're constantly trying to get it in that perfect setting of 240 kilopascals or whatever your vehicle is, it's going to be real difficult to do, because even the sun shining on one side of your car can raise that number by sometimes 20 kilopascals. So you're just looking to get roughly within a couple of pounds, because even driving down the road, like I say, with the sun on one side, or you're cornering and you got heat pressure, heat on the one side of the tire from making a lot of right-hand corners, your left side of the tire is going to rub more, and or the rear, or if you're hauling a heavy load in the back in a truck, you're going to have more pressure on the tires, which generates more heat. The more heat, the more pressure. So, and you're also going to have it fluctuate with temperature as well. So when it comes to the wintertime, you're going to see those pressures drop as well, and obviously when the weather gets cold, adjust them up, and then in the summertime do the same. So now that we're in learn mode, we're going to get out of the car. I'm going to use both tools just to show you. We've got our tool out there at GM, plus we've got that orange tool that we've got that you guys can buy too, kind of show you that both of them work and both of them do the same kind of job. And then we'll be able to come back in and show you that the tires have all learned. Okay, so now that it's in learn mode, it says it on the dash. We've heard the 2 honks that kind of lets you know that it's in learn mode. We're going to take our tool here and go around each tire to tell it where the tire is. So it makes it really easy. If you'll notice, the signal light is on in this front corner. That's telling us this is the tire we have to do first. Now this side is on, the right front head signal light is on. We're going to go down. We're going to hold it next to the valve stem, and we're going to press the button. Light will flash. And as soon as it picks up the signal, it'll honk the horn to let us know. Sometimes you got to move them around depending on the strength of the battery that's in the module. So once you've gone around and done each corner of the vehicle and relearned each sensor, you'll hear the double honk, which will tell you that all your sensors are relearned in the proper location. You can confirm it by checking on your dash to make sure it shows the appropriate tire pressure, and if not, you'll have to obviously, either adjust your tire pressure accordingly to whatever it says in the door. So, yeah, the main part of that is you want to keep your tires at the proper pressure, because obviously a tire that's not flat is going to roll easier, which means you're going to have less throttle input, which means you're working your engine less, which means it's going to burn less gas, and you're also going to save those tires. So if you have too much tire pressure in your tire, it'll ride on the center part of the tire and it'll actually wear the center of the tire. If you have too low a tire pressure, it'll wear the 2 sides of the tire. And obviously it'll change the handling characteristics of the car as well, right? So tires that are too much pressure or too hard, they'll wander, they'll follow the road, they'll be rougher going down the road, they're harder on suspension parts because that tire's got a bit of give to it, which will help with the suspension too. And if they're too low on air pressure, it'll be sloppy feeling steering. If we've got, low pressure on one side as opposed to the other, it's going to pull that side of the road. So tire pressure is real important to maintain how your vehicle drives and maintain that fuel pressure. So the decision you have to make is, most cars come with these now. They do have a shelf life because there's a battery inside of these. So, after a few years, depending on, what kind of temperatures you're in, will depend on how long these little batteries last. I've seen some, as quick as 5 years, these will go bad, and I've seen them last 10 or 11 years before these go bad. You also have to decide whether you want to put a set of these in your winter tires as well. So if you got a set of these in your summer tires and you want to shut that light off and keep it off, and you want to know what your tire pressure is, then you're going to have to buy another set of these to put in your winter wheels, and that's something you'll have to look at. They're anywhere from I've seen them as cheap as $30, $40 a sensor, right up to $100, $110 a sensor. You're best off to get a really good quality sensor, especially if you're doing it yourself. You want to kind of stick with a brand name sensor. I've seen some sensors that you get off the internet and stuff that you get in that aren't compatible with your vehicle, because these sensors have a frequency that they run on. So if the frequency of your car, runs off whatever frequency, and you get the sensor and it's a different frequency, it's never going to work. You're never going to get them to relearn. So these are great little things to have. It'll let you know if you get a tire going flat or down, keeps your tires lasting as long as they can, and it keeps your vehicle, you know, cost down as far as fuel goes. So that's all you need to know on tire pressure sensors. Any questions or comments, just drop them in the description down below there. And yeah, we look forward to shooting some more content for you. See you later.
Hey, Earl.
What?
So you're shooting the video here, getting it all cleaned up for you.
No, because you were complaining. I already went next door and shot it. I don't need your help. So we're looking to get some of our content out there for a lot of their viewers. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a contest. Hit subscribe to our channel so you get notifications on new videos. We're going to get you to hit the like button on Facebook and share this with all your friends and family. And we're going to pick one person that does that to win a $50 gas card. That's all you got to do.
Who don't like a free gas card?
Yeah, who don't like a free gas card?
Subscribe now.